And good morning, everybody. This is the regular takeover on a Monday by the Space Junkie guys. That's gonna be a great show already. Hi, how are you doing? We are back. This is a usual, regular, like talk show kind of get together when we talk about our favorite topic, and that's usually Starship. And I got here David with me. Hello, David. How are you doing?
Yeah, it's Monday again. 1 week passed. It was so quick again. So yeah, but we are here again, and we won't talk about only about rocket ships, but yeah, original ships, but just a bit.
There's gonna be a bit of ship
Yeah.
as well. Ship hooray. It's mainly because there's a big show going on down in Brownsville, namely the USS John Fitzgerald Kennedy is being tugged into a scrapyard, and it's an end of a beautiful ship, and it's nice to see. We got some nice photos of the
We just
beautiful aircraft carrier.
we just thought so that for some for some warming up, we will show some photos about it because we can't see every day such a nice aircraft carrier around there. But
Hmm.
because of at Port Brownsville there is a big scrapyard, that's why it was tucked there. And yeah, there are already some old, even older ships, aircraft carriers, and other battleships. And now this USS Kennedy will join them.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Ekij, I hope I'm sorry you have a difficult name. Please just tell us the phonetics how to say your name because I don't want to say keep on saying it wrong. He says unless SpaceX is going to use it to land boosters on.
That's a
um,
new drone ship, yeah.
we have no information about that, but you never know. It's definitely a very unique drone ship. How to deal with it afterwards? That's another. Maybe they should equip it with a service tower and some chopsticks, some special design chopsticks. Yeah, probably. But as you can see, this is from before it got commissioned.
Mm.
You could see that it's full of aircrafts. Yeah, I'm sure it was a nice aircraft carrier and it had a lovely lifetime. But every story got to an end, and this is the end of this particular aircraft carrier.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm sure it's a quite nice site. I remember when I used to live in the UK and I went down once to just the opposite of Isle of Man, and there was one aircraft carrier there which I can't remember. Truman, maybe? Is the I think there is such USS Truman, but help me out if I'm talking rubbish. And it was just parked there, and even just the sight of it, I
Mm.
just had a small telescope and just to look at it. And it's funny because they keep on turning them around as the tide goes in and
Mm.
out, because the tide cannot hit it sideways, as far as I know. So it always needs to turn towards the tide, towards the
Yeah.
flow of the water, so we could see it like from almost like 360 degree angle, and it was full of like aircrafts on top of it. It's gigantic, you know. So an aircraft carrier is amazing. Yeah. Okay, let's
Yeah,
divert our
yeah,
attention back to the main,
focus on Starship.
yeah, to the main topic. We got some nice comparison shots from RGV aerial. This is like, if I remember, I think we showed last time around some a similar comparison, but that was like a year ago. And this probably does better justice because this is like a year and a half ago and
Mhm.
today. So a
Yeah.
year and a half is, I mean, just if you look at it, how much of a difference it made, and from top to bottom, yeah. I mean, we can see the new car park, we can see an extra mega bay, the totally the Star Factory just expanded beyond belief. Even the soccer field is gone in that
Our
tiny area.
famous part of the entire production site.
Yep, and then I like to notice the bottom. So there is no car park anymore,
Mhm.
like a year and a half ago, because all the cars they moved to the proper car park, and all the RVs with for the workers. So
Mhm.
that kind of Boca Chica village transformed again. It's now full of RVs and houses and accommodations for the workers. It grew so much. It's unreal,
Yeah, it's not
really.
anymore a village, but a city, so we can call it as Boca Chica City or Metropolis, maybe.
But it's called Starbase now, right?
Of
The
course,
air
but I'm just kidding
is
that the original name was this territory, Boca Chica village, but
yeah,
it's not anymore a village size. So,
yeah.
of
Yep.
course, but yeah, the official name is already Starbase because
Mhm.
yeah, the authorities had given this permission to call this entire territory as Starbase. So
Mhm.
it's
Mhm.
not a nickname anymore.
Yep. Okay. Right. I think right. We didn't have a plan how to go on with this show today because these days I think we are sort of diverting from like going through Sanchez and build site and launch site. Usually Felix does it uh, in a better fashion. Let's just call it that way. In Tuesdays and Fridays, so we just sort of rumbling here, and I just had the thought that now that we see the bays, let's talk a little bit about the Giga Bay because we can
Mhm.
compare, make the comparisons, because we got two mega bays on particularly here, and this is no small building, right?
Not at
Um,
all.
and we got some internal shots. I mean, if we take a look inside, we got one, two, three, four and a half boosters inside. So this is it's a gigantic building, but SpaceX had different ideas in Florida and probably in here as well.
Yes, as Felix mentioned in the previous Friday episode, the Mega Bay, it's about 3,000 square meters, the
Hmm.
base. So the Giga Bay will be much, much, much more bigger, or much
Yeah.
bigger, better to say. So you can see the in the Mega Bays, especially in the let's say super heavy or booster bay, there is 5 different construction pads, but we don't know anything about, or not anything, but we have only small information about the Mega Bay 2, where nowadays the ships are constructing. But yeah, there are, I guess, five working stations as well, because there are no more room for a 6 or 7 pad. But anyway, the Giga Bay will be much bigger, and maybe it will be required because SpaceX, of course, SpaceX has even bigger plans as always, and they want to um, extend their service. And the two mega bays, especially the high bay, won't be enough anymore in terms of capacity, because that's why the Star Factory itself has been built and constructed for the mass production. But it's not anymore about how the poor MK1 has been built up under the clear skies and in every poor conditions. So once the Star Factory will be full in, then the 3 current base won't be enough anymore. That's why you can see, yeah, the Florida site, exactly the Roberts Road. But we can see already some renders about the Giga Bay, and that's what at the Starbase is planned as well. Maybe not the same size, but kind of. And just for the visual, just look at this Giga Base. So even the Mega Base will be dwarf next to them, or next to it.
Honestly, actually, I don't really see the point to build such a big building here because Um, I don't understand why there is a speculation that we're gonna have a gigafactory size building here. I mean, just if you think about it, how big this building here at Roberts Road is going to be, that's going to have an area of 4 million. Sorry, that's the volume,
Yeah.
4 million cubic meters. And VAB, the VAB, the iconic vehicle assembly building,
Right.
is like a 500,000 cubic meter less.
Yes.
So what's the point building this size structure in Starbase? I
Mm.
don't get it. You
Yeah,
know,
maybe that's why I'm.
they go,
Mm.
they're gonna need a bigger one for sure,
Mm.
but that size, I mean, that's just so big.
Yeah, maybe Starbase doesn't require so big building.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
the half of it will be still quite big. But yeah, anyway, the high bay the high base days are counted. That's for sure because it's too small
Hmm.
already. It was at that time pretty good for let's say the first phase for constructing the starships. I mean the second stages mainly,
Hmm.
and the very beginning the first boosters were constructed there, but it's not anymore like that. And yeah, maybe the high bay and Stargate building will be gone soon,
Hmm.
and maybe there are some plans to deconstruct your famous building, the garage, but maybe it will survive because yeah, as we speak, it's not required to construct or build like an enormous or gigantic Giga Bay, because Starbase will be even the role of the Starbase will be even less and less once the
Hmm.
Florida site will be constructed and finished. I mean, both sites, so the construction site or production site at Roberts Road and the launch sites as well. And that's why maybe it's too much for Starbase currently. It's not anymore needed. But that's
Hmm.
only my thinking,
Hmm.
thinking
Hmm.
loud.
Yeah, because Starbase is, as you said, it's an R&D facility.
Mm.
Yes, they need big production capability, but at some point, once the main development is done,
Mhm.
I don't really see the need of it, because
Yeah. Mm.
there isn't, to be fair. And once Roberts Road's capability is ramped up, it's gonna be even less, because if they could transport the boosters and the ships, that would be a different story. But it's at the moment it's untransportable, if there is a word
Especially
like
the
that.
boosters, yeah.
Exactly. So it's not like you lay them down and you put them on a barge and hello. You can't do that. It's too long of a journey, and it's too big of a vehicle at the moment. At least we don't see that happening. So what's built here gonna stay here. That's it. It's like Las Vegas. What happens there stays there.
Yeah.
So
For now, yeah.
yeah, I don't see. Yes, probably they don't need the Stargate building. The High Bay is obviously one of the last standing building from the old buildings, and yeah, so I can see definitely that happening. But
Yeah,
the
because
main production is focused on Florida. Yeah.
yeah, so we used to get most of the times the question, why just not fly the stages from the Starbase to the Cape? And it's not like that. So maybe the ships, so the second stages could do this trick. So they will be launched from the Starbase, and they can be cached at Florida. That's a different story, but the super heavy booster is not capable to do such a nice trip. So
Hmm.
I mean the fly from Starbase to the Cape. And yeah, as Sabi mentioned, it's not for transportation at all, because maybe you all know all of the stages has to be under pressure once they are finished. Uh, I mean the main body is ready or constructed, then they are going under pressure, and they are all the time under pressure. Otherwise, it will be collapsed. And that's why it would be a very, very different and a very hard story or task for the engineers to transport these enormous 70-meter tall and a 9-meter diameter constructions from Florida, or sorry, from the Starbase to Florida. So it's it's not like that.
Absolutely. Sabolch is asking, what kind of production line will be applied in Giga Bay? I already say I'm not entirely sure we have any information about that. So, like, arrive a part, booster or ship. So, arriving booster or ship part, and will it go via a production line, build phases to make them in series? So you mean like they just keep on producing certain elements and after that they assemble, or there is like one particular vehicle and that's being built first and then another one being built first again, and so like that's how I understood the question. I don't think anyone knows publicly unless you are a SpaceX engineer.
Yeah, maybe the main role of the Giga Bay will be for storage, because otherwise the Mega Bays wouldn't have any role anymore. So currently the production line looks like that the barrel sections, so 3 or 4 ring sections, has been made in the Star Factory, and of course the nose cone and the payload bay. Then they are taken out from the Star Factory either to the Mega Bay 1 or 2. It's about whether it's a booster or a ship, and then they will be finished in the 2 Mega Bays. And I can imagine that this production line will be all the same, but after they are finished with the boosters and the ships, they will be stored until the first or second, or I don't know how many launches in the Giga Bay. But that's maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, it can be, of course, that the Giga Bay will be so enormous that there will be a production line as well, because of course they will have the room for it. Why not? But then why do they still have the 2 Mega Bays at the Starbase? And of course, we don't know the exact and the full plan at the Roberts Road. We have this information about the Giga Bay only, so we don't have the exact plan how the entire new site will look like. For now, there is only information about the Giga Bay, and yeah, these these rumors about the Starbase Giga Bay. It's a totally different story, because as we spoke about this in the next in the last 20 minutes
I think
or 15 minutes, they don't need it.
I think Sabi was meaning the Florida one because I mean that's what's going ahead, and the Starbase is a big question mark.
Yeah.
So I can only imagine similar to what a Tesla Gigafactory looks like. Instead of one certain vehicle, they have sections and they just keep on producing certain parts of vehicles according to what type of vehicle is it going to be, and then that's it. It's gonna be mainly ship production, right? Because they're gonna have the fleet is going to look similar to the Falcon 9 fleet. That because of the boosters, once you have enough amount of boosters, they just keep on ferrying second stages to the trajectory, and they just come back and there's a rotation of the boosters, so you
Yeah.
don't need to produce them continuously. Although the ships, they are the ones that going elsewhere and then they don't come back, or they are used and they need to have a rotation. It's a new story, let's be frank. Nobody's done this before. The rockets usually look like they have a second stage which never comes back in one piece to the factory. It comes back, but a little bit scattered and all over the ocean. But otherwise, it's never happened before. So I think everything is new related to this story. So yeah, we're pretty much looking forward to see and hear more about how they planning to
Mhm.
carry out the production. And yeah, and definitely, as you said, it needs to be a storage place as well. They can just store them outside.
Of
it it
course.
it must be a storage place as well, but as we can see, there is enough room for that.
Yes. Yeah, but that's why it's a big and interesting question how this entire Roberts Road will look like and how the production line will be built up.
Hmm. Yep, definitely. Okay. Obviously, these are photos from 3D Daniel, and they lack certain details. As you can see, they just resting these boosters on their 33 Raptors on the ground. So there will be facilities, but this is just to show the enormity of this place and how gigantic gargantuan it is. So this is going to be amazing, definitely. And the good thing is, as you could see, that the groundwork has begun.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes.
that's
So
that's.
yeah, the land clearing was already begun
Hmm.
a couple of months ago or 2 months ago. I don't remember exactly, but you can see the lighter brown or tan area.
Hmm.
It's a rectangular area very next to the Roberts Road actually, or I don't know whether it's the horizontal or vertical line, the Roberts Road, but one of it's for sure it is. But anyway, the lighter brown area, thank you, it will be the Giga Bay itself. So already the base will be already it's a huge area, so you can imagine
Hmm.
how enormous building will be this one.
Hmm. Yep. Okay. Right. Let's see if there's any question related to this, because usually there are some speculations in the chat, and it's always nice to see. Um, yeah, I don't see any questions particularly.
Mm.
Okay, let's come back to the production. Sorry, no, the launch site, because the launch
Okay.
site has so in Starbase, because the launch site is going through some pretty good transformation. Because shall we start with the chopsticks?
Yeah, of course.
Mm-hmm. Okay, because the chopsticks has been fitted, luckily,
Yeah,
fine, finally.
they have been already and finally installed or mated with the tower. And yeah, it was a quite quite long story we had after this last show. A very short, just 3 hours long, or 3 hours short show about the waiting to be lifted.
Yep.
And finally they have lifted these already puzzled chopsticks. And of course it wasn't too exciting and too hard rush movement or operation, but the main goal was to put it on the tower in one piece if it's possible, and they have done it, of course. And yeah, now they can install the other sections. And at the weekend the traveling block has been installed already. That's one of the most important part of the pulley system. So after the traveling block was installed, they can just pull the cables and yeah, after the other pulley systems. So the chopsticks can just move by itself already, because currently only the cranes could move it up and down because of
Is
the
it
pulley
is it
system is
still
not
is
installed.
it still connected to the crane?
No, not anymore. So the
More.
skates are already handling or they are taking or yeah, they can have the load of the
Mm-hmm.
chopsticks already, but the pulley system is not installed yet, so they can't going forward up and down yet.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
yeah, that was one of the visual thing, but maybe the other big step forward was about the flame trench. I don't know whether we have some flyover photos from the Y team.
I don't know the new one. I'm gonna figure it out very soon. I'm gonna share some of the old one, and in the meantime, I'm gonna take a look. Okay.
Okay, so that's from 1.5 weeks ago, and yeah, since then the flame trench was changed as well, because now the steps are very big forward, let's say, and the process or the progress, the construction is quite big, because they want to finish it as soon as possible, to have the datas, because maybe, as we have already talked about, they have to have the data from here, from the Starbase, how this new flame trench and the entire pad B is working, because until it's not finished here, they don't want to start the construction at the Kennedy, and that's why they rush pretty much, and now the chopsticks are already installed. They maybe they can have the first catching attempt with one of the ships, maybe the second next. So not at the flight 8, but maybe at the flight 9. We don't know yet, of course, just rumor has it. And the other big question, when the entire flame trench will be finished, and we can see that the entire trench was reached the biggest deep. So the deepest point has been reached with the excavators, and they have already just excavate out the entire ground. And now of course, our one of the famous topic, the concrete pouring is progressing quite well. So yeah, with it's pretty visible from this angle how big progress was done just in couple of days. And yeah, the chopsticks are already on the tower, as you can see, and under it there are some excavations. And and one the third main part, of course, are the pipes, and so the entire tanking system, so the pipelines, and they have been laid down already in this other trench, what you can see from coming from the above tank farm. So yeah, it was needed, because SpaceX doesn't want to build an entire and separate tank farm for the pad B, but both of the pads will be serviced with one big tank farm. And of course, that's why that was required to build a pretty nice and pretty big trench with the pipes, but they are progressing with that quite well as well. So yes, I don't know. I don't know what to what to add more with it.
No, I think you summed it up pretty nicely. As you can see with the live cam, there is not much to see. These days it's always so foggy. It's incredible.
Only when we have some show. The other days are very sunny and very clear. Just when we have some shows, then it's foggy, rainy, cloudy.
Yeah, I mean,
That's our bad luck.
yeah, it can't be always perfect. Maybe something about Pad A, because they are doing the reparation works,
Yes.
and the preparation works as well for the next flight. How do we know how damaged it is after the flight?
So the OLM itself hasn't been damaged so in high volume as previously, so it could withstand quite nice the launch and the catching attempt itself, or both. But yeah, maybe the biggest problem is always with the booster QD shielding. So they have to not remove, but they have to almost reconstruct or refurbish so big in a so big volume this shielding. Then that they have to thinking out a better solution in longer way or longer time, because otherwise it takes so much time to refurbish all the time after every launch, this entire shielding. However, it looks like quite strong, and even with this strongness, it's harmed, or it has a big impact. I mean, the launch and the catching as well on it. So maybe that's the biggest problem currently. And but the other thing about the ship quick disconnect arm, that it could survive pretty well these last couple of flights. So maybe you remember the second or third or even the fourth flight, that when it was quite badly damaged. But maybe the last and the previous second previous launches were much better, and they don't have to reconstruct it maybe from 0 point. But yeah, they have even so this OLMA, it's a prototype, as we all the time speaking about, or just name it, because that's how the Pad B was just reconfigured and redesigned, because SpaceX has learned its lesson about the Pad A, and it wasn't the best solution. It's for a good prototype, but it's not. It can be handled so much and so big volume Starship launches anymore. So yeah, if the goal would be that, let's say they want to launch in every 2 or 3 months, then it's okay, because in that time, in that case, they would have time to refurbish in every case. But they want to launch maybe every couple of days, and with this construction, I mean the Pad A, it's not feasible or not suitable for have some launches in so short terms.
Again, as you just said it, quite frankly, this is a development site. So they definitely calls the stage zero a prototype as well, for a reason, because this is the place where they try to come up with the idea that how they should construct the Florida site launch pads and launch facilities, and this is what we see exactly happening. Once it's gonna be so nice, especially from this angle. In a couple of months' time, we will see the difference between the version one and the version two pads, because now we can see on the left hand side the pad A, it's standing on these legs, and it's elevated highly, above the ground, versus now with the new one. And I got some videos from the Friday episode, which we encourage you to watch, dear viewers. So this is the new design, and obviously they are using the experience from Pad A, mainly the bad experience from Pad A, and also they have on the Massey side, as you could just see, a static fire of a ship. They have these testing facilities, so they already implemented the flame diverters, which was pretty much needed in this process. And now we kind of know that this is going to have it's a two-sided flame trench, so it's diverting this enormous power two different directions. There was some speculation if it's just one direction or two directions, but the most important part that it's not elevated. It's so much easier to service it. And I think SpaceX kind of did not want to build the flame trench. They thought that they will come up with something better. And after the experience of Pad A, especially IFT1, they definitely saw that, okay, IFT1 should not have happened at all. Let's say if they constructed already the flame diverter, sorry, the steel plate and that
Water
kind of
deluge.
the water, thank you, the water deluge system, the damage is not that huge,
Mhm.
but still, it's not supporting the idea uh, how Starship was born, that it's supposed to take the beating every day.
Yeah.
So that's a natural, I think, evolution of this launch system or the pads. And this is going to be amazing if they come up. Now that we know that they came up with this lovely idea, with the swappable sort of platforms, I think that's revolutionary. If they're gonna pull it off, just how was it? So just think about it. There's a new video now out. I don't know, David, if you've seen New Space yet.
I don't think so.
Okay, so there's a documentary came out. I encourage everybody to watch it because it's quite amazing. So just think about
What's
it.
the title again? Sorry.
New Space.
New space.
It's on YouTube. And so just think about it for a second that now they are building for Artemis a launch pad, two and a half, at least 2.5 billion. And just one launch is at a ballpark of a Falcon Heavy is 60 million. And it looks like the Starship it was in this documentary. If they gonna make it happen, then they're gonna bring down this cost to 10 million, a Starship launch. And this whole
Compared to two and a
facility,
half billion, 10 million.
no, it's not a fair comparison because
Okay, but
that's a launch site, but it's so damaged after one launch, these SLS
mhm,
launch towers,
yeah.
that they need significant sort of refurbishment. And now they are building something else. It's not just launching something, but it has two arms. It can move the things onto the pad and remove once the booster is back. So this is so revolutionary. And the reason why I'm showing you this steel sandwich is because this is going to be the one that's taking the beating, and they're just gonna remove it, put another one until they come up with a version that actually can take the beating much better. It's
I
incredible.
I'm quite positive about this new design. So even it won't withstand maybe, I don't know, 50 launches, but that's why it will be changeable. And
Hmm.
maybe at Starbase, SpaceX won't require, I don't know, more than 3 mobile launch mounts. So
Hmm.
I guess yeah, with maximum 3 they could handle pretty big and pretty many launches. So yeah, the main question will be how the flame trench can withstand the power
Hmm.
and the volume of the of the flames.
Yep.
But that's
Yep.
why it's very it will be very strong, or should be very strong. And yeah, it won't be used only for static fires as in case of the massive site, as you mentioned, Sabi, but yeah, that's a much bigger flame trench and with much bigger and much robust constructed things and parts. So that's why I'm quite positive about this whole new design. And maybe it will, if it will work, then they will change at pad A like that. Of course, it would take so much time, but otherwise maybe it's even better solution to, let's say, make some break on pad A and just use the pad A for some months, let's say, until the pad A will be reconstructed for this flame trench, and like the same as in case of pad B, because otherwise, as I mentioned, the current pad A or OLM-A is not feasible, or yeah, so
Hmm. Hmm.
for a long time.
Absolutely. No, they should change the design. If this works, I mean, what's the point keeping
Yeah,
a
yeah.
less ideal solution? I don't think there's any
Mhm.
point to doing that. But then they need to break quite some concrete because I mean, if we all remember how solid they built the base of that OLM after IFT1, I
Oh
mean,
yes.
they really they it looked like they are building a new underground system or something. You
Yeah,
know, they
they
probably need to bring in the boring machine or I don't know.
yeah, their hand was just so they were not so free about the construction of the water deluge system because there were some pipes going through or going under the ground already, and
Mhm.
that didn't want to just reconstruct everything because they didn't have the time that time.
Yep.
But now maybe
You mean that precious time? Yes, they did
yeah.
not.
But once the pad B is operating, then they will have the chance and the time to just reconstruct everything around and on the pad A.
Yep. 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 It's looking, yeah, we're pretty much looking forward to it. This is a huge project. And to be fair, I mean, I put back again, I go back to square one where we started. I mean, it's really hard to emphasize how things are changing on a weekly basis. We
Yeah.
come up with a week, or Felix is doing, 2 episodes a week. Sometimes it looks like it's not much of a progress, but if you look back, this is how.
Hmm.
Oh, actually, by the way, yesterday was the fourth anniversary of SN9, spectacular end of SN9. After SN8, I think everybody expected it's gonna stick to the pad and land and no problems, and it did not
But
at all.
it wasn't still the worst launch of the Starships or the
No, 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 no.
SN series.
Yeah,
Maybe
it was yet to come.
we all remember the SN11 and what happened there.
I don't. I'm sorry. I only remember the good things. Yes. So, but one.
You don't want to talk about it.
Well, it's not much to talk about when it comes to SN11.
Just launched
And
and okay.
well, I think yeah, that was kind of an IFT1 moment for a second. Maybe not that crazy, but that was the prelude for IFT1.
Yes.
When they don't think straight, in my opinion. But anyway, um, and yeah. So if you just look back, I mean, last year, what when they started, when did they come up with the office idea? It was
Um,
like it's more than 6 months or around 6 months, something like that. I know, and they
around
had
May,
the
around May, 20,
uh-huh,
24 May. I'm not sure anymore, but
yeah, and
around in spring.
yeah. So Star Factory and the office building is one of the reminder for me at least that okay, it's keep building. Yeah, okay, the structure is there, the frames are there, the roof is there, blah blah blah. And now from now on, we only going to remember that it's there. It's part of Starbase, and up until they knock down something, I don't know. It seems like this is Starbase or always the current version, but how fast the things are changing, you can
Mhm.
only see it when you look back 6 months, a year and a half. And then you just see that, wow, what? I mean, when we were there in 2022 summer, this is how I remember on the top. That's how I remember
Yes.
that the ring segments are in front of the onion
Yeah,
tents.
at the ring yard.
Yes, at the
Call it
ring
that way.
yard.
Yeah.
That's how I remember Starbase.
Yeah,
And
and the onion tents and the low bay, mid bay,
yep, yep,
etc., etc., etc.
yeah,
So it looked
exactly.
like
Whatever is here. Yeah, on this
yeah,
photo. Yeah,
it's not anymore.
exactly.
It's not anymore on the screen, but
Yeah, so it's unreal. It's just
yeah.
it's so fast. The pace, the everything is changing, and how they come up with the idea. And again, I don't think I have any more those photos, but um, we look back a couple of episodes ago how fast they come up with the new tower. I mean, last year May, June, There was no second tower. There was
Yeah,
just
but
some rumor that, yeah.
they
Sorry.
have cheated, but because the modules were already built in Florida.
Yeah. Yeah. True. 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 But still, on the site, there was no sign of it at all. So yeah,
Yes.
no, it's great. I love the progress,
Mm.
and let's be frank. Um, if you think about it, there is no other company like SpaceX at the moment. They so pushing the boundaries. Again, this new documentary, New Space, they talk quite extensively how the old sort of style rocket industry looked like in the States, and how everything was turned upside down with SpaceX.
Mhm.
They just gone down to the road where NASA was in the 60s, breaking things, innovating things, how sluggish NASA has became in the past years. And yeah, it's so, I think it's so bad. And now, as I was watching the documentary, can we have the pictures back, Jonathan, please? As I was watching the documentary, you kind of feel like there is a new revolution happening. There are these new companies, and they constantly building uh, stuff, and there are these new. It's not just rocket factories. I mean, there are all kinds of small startups, and I think we've been to a lovely conference 2 weeks ago, a gala, space charity gala here in Hungary, and we had the chance to talk to Manlio Di Stefano, who's the regional director for Axiom Space. Am I
Yes.
correct with the title?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the EMEA region director. Yeah.
So European, Middle East, and Africa.
Right.
Yeah, and this gentleman was explaining how. So now we are at the age similar to when internet started. So at the beginning, everybody was into building the hardware, building the network, laying down the cables. And now these days, actually, not many companies wanna be in the laying down cables sort of, or building up the infrastructure business. Now everybody is just using the infrastructure, and it's shifted so heavily towards the services, that everybody wants to give services through the internet. And that's what he said at Axiom, trying to be that one of those companies who's offering services, because they want to be that link between what NASA used to do and now they don't do. Because I think NASA should focus on science, and there should be companies who's actually doing the heavy lifting in terms of putting mass on low Earth orbits and then beyond low Earth orbit. So it's
To the
it's a
moon and beyond.
yeah, yeah, to the moon and beyond.
It's unforgettable.
Yeah. So I think we are living in an age so unprecedented, so expected a long time ago, and probably this is going to happen now.
Mm.
I'm very positive.
Me too. Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm just watching the chat, and Sabocheri has a different question about the Flight 8, so let's answer it.
Yep.
So do we have any info about the Flight 8? Do SpaceX have more mock-up Starlink satellites? Were they spotted already? And actually, I guess maybe it's Felix. So hello, Felix. He's
Hey,
watching.
hey.
And he answered that we did recently spot a new PES loader, so at least they won't need to manually load them again. And yeah, about the Flight 8, it's for sure, or yeah, 25% that they won't launch operational Starlinks yet. But rumor has it that maybe the Flight 9, of course, that's that's a different story. But if Flight 8 will be successful, then on Flight 9, maybe they will launch the first operational Starlinks already. But yeah, that's a different story, because first they have to launch the Flight 8, of course, and yeah, but maybe you remember how these mock-up satellites have been loaded to the S-33, and it was quite
Painful.
painful, and and it was very slow. It was a very slow
Time
operation
consuming. Yeah.
and time consuming. And now, because as Felix mentioned, they have a new PES loader now. They can load them much faster,
I tried
and
to find a photo of it.
it's in the high
Um,
bay, right? It is
I
big
think it
white,
is. Yes, but I don't know
big
who
white
shared it.
rectangular
Yeah.
uh, thing. So
Mhm.
yeah, much or yeah, compared to the Flight 7, there will be many differences. But one one which will be one different is the the trajectory. Sorry, so it will be still a suborbital flight because they have to repeat, or maybe they don't have to, but they want to repeat the Flight 7 because the S-33 wasn't so successful in that term. I mean the with the tests, so the deploy tests, and of course because of the first block 2, they had to prove whether the one Raptor can relight on in space, and it wasn't successful, of course, because the 33 was damaged or blown up or already before the
Um,
relight. So yeah, that's the PES loader.
Check buyer took an incredible photo of it, and that's where it is. Yeah, the hardware.
And maybe that's a nice solution of doing things even quicker as previously. I mean the Starlink loading.
Hmm.
So yeah, we will see. And yeah, the other big question, when Flight 8, and of course we don't know yet, but what we know that it will be not earlier than 24th of February, because that's the first day when SpaceX has gotten or received the permission to use their own Starlink network from FCC. So again, no earlier than 24th of February. Of course, it can slip by March or until March, and yeah, it won't be a big surprise. But in terms of the two main roles, main yeah, the booster 15 and the ship 34 will be the two stages, and both of them has to perform static fires. And yeah, we don't know when the rollouts will happen. Maybe there is a roll delay for tomorrow in the morning, but I don't know whether it's for the production from the production line from production side, sorry, to the masses, or from the production side to the launch side. Because if it's for the masses, then we know that it's for the ship rollout, so the ship 34. If it's for towards to the launch side, then we know that it's for the booster. But none of it was rolled out from the Mega Bay 1 or 2. So yeah, we are waiting for the happenings today. And yeah, but it should come soon, because otherwise the February launch won't be won't be real, if SpaceX can't do the static fires in the next couple of weeks. Sorry,
I
I can't speak anymore
For
today.
next week you need to practice like 100 times. Production
Production
side,
side,
production.
production side, yeah.
Right. Okay. Definitely. We're gonna keep an eye on what's gonna happen. Up until then, Tuesdays and Fridays, when you need to tune to What About It, the main channel, because Felix is bringing you the best and latest during these episodes. So stay tuned. Definitely subscribe to both channels. This one, What About It Plus, and the main channel, What About It, because it has tons of material to offer to you. So yeah, follow them, chat with them, comment, ask if you have any questions, and definitely if you can, give a lovely support to this team, because yeah, this is the place to go when it comes to Starship and all the important informations. This is a big and hard working team, and they're all working for you to get the latest and best news. And it looks like the fog lifted in the meantime, so it's not a surprise that it always happens by the end of the show. So thank you, Starbase. But at least there is something that we can always rely on.
We
We
have
have
to
the
start
center
1 hour later then.
Yes. All right. I think this was from us today. We are coming back next week on Monday. This is the regular, usual Space Junkie takeover. Thanks very much. Obviously, we are not English speaking, native English speaking people. I mean, English speaking, but what not native. So this is our accent. I hope you can live with that. We try to improve week by week. And this is just a cool place just to chat and talk to you guys through the live chat. Okay, we'll be back next week. Have a splendid week. Enjoy your time. Stay healthy, not like me, and and I'll see you next week. Yeah, take care.
Okay, guys, thank you for your attention and see you next week. Bye bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.